So I'm going to be reading once again from this book that I love, Women Who Run with the Wolves. This is my second time rereading it, and I've just been highlighting chapters that I found really valuable. So this is after the story of Vasilisa is told, and it's from page 114. It is true, I will not lie to you. It is easier to throw away the light and go back to sleep. It is true, it is hard to hold the skull light out before us sometimes, for with it we clearly see all sides of ourselves and others, both the disfigured and the divine and all conditions in between. Yet with this light, the miracles of deep beauty in the world and in humans come to consciousness. With this penetrating light, one can see past the bad action to the good heart. One can espy the sweet spirit crushed beneath the hatred. One can understand much instead of being perplexed only. This light can differentiate layers of personality, intention, and motives in others. It can determine consciousness and unconsciousness in self and others. It is the wand of knowing. It is the mirror in which all things are sensed and seen. It is the deep, wild nature. Yet there are times when its reports are painful and almost too much to bear, for also the fiery skull points out where there are betrayals brewing, where there is faintness of courage in those who speak otherwise. It points out envy lying like cold grease behind a warm smile. As regards oneself, its light is equally bright. It shines on our treasures and on our foibles. It is these knowings which are the most difficult to face. It is at this point that we always want to throw away all this damnable, shrewd knowing of ours. It is here that we feel, if we will not ignore it, a strong force from the self saying, "Do not throw me away, keep me, you'll see." As Vasilisa weaves through the forest, she no doubt is thinking too about the step family which had maliciously sent her off to die. And though she herself is sweet of heart, the skull is not sweet. Its work is to be sightful. So when she wishes to toss it away, we know that she is thinking of the pain it causes to know some things and certain things about self, about others, about the nature of the world. She arrives home and the stepmother and stepsisters tell her they had no fire, no energy while she was away, that no matter what they did, they could not make light. And this is the exact truth in any woman's psyche when she is in her wildish power. During that time, the things which have oppressed her have no libido. It is all taken up in the good journey. Without libido, the nastier aspects of the psyche, those which exploit the creative life of a woman or encourage her to squander her life with the minutiae, these become like gloves with no hands in them. The fiery skull begins to peer at the stepsisters and stepmother, watching and watching them intently. Can a negative aspect of psyche be reduced to cinder by being watched and watched? Yes, indeed it can. Holding it in consistent consciousness can cause the thing to dehydrate. In one version of the tale, the errant family members are burnt to a crisp. In another version, to 3 small black cinders. The 3 small black cinders hold a very old and interesting idea. The little black dit or dot is often thought of as the beginning of life. In the Old Testament, when that God made first man and first woman, he fashioned them from earth, dirt, mud, depending on which translation one reads. Just how much earth, no one says, but among other creation stories, the beginning of the world and of its inhabitants is often made from the dit, from one grain, one single tiny dark dot of something. In this manner, the 3 small cinders are in the province of the life, death, life mother. They are reduced down almost to nothing in the psyche. They are deprived of libido. Now something new can occur. In many cases, when we are consciously depriving a psychic thing of juice, it shrivels and its energy is released or reconfigured. There is another side to this draining of the destructive step family. One cannot keep the consciousness one has earned by meeting the hag goddess and carrying the fiery light and so forth. If one lives with cruel people outwardly or inwardly, if you are surrounded by people who cross their eyes and look up with disgust at the ceiling when you are in the room, when you speak, when you act and react, then you are with the people who douse passions, yours and probably their own as well. These are not the people who care about you, your work, your life. A woman must choose her friends and lovers wisely, for both can become like a bad stepmother and rotten stepsisters. In the case of our lovers, we must invest with them the power of a great mage, a great magician. This is easy to do, for if we become truly intimate, it is like unlocking a lead crystal atelier, a magic one, or so it feels to us. A lover can engender and or destroy even our most durable connections to our own cycles and ideas. The destructive lover must be avoided. A better sort of lover is one finely wrought of strong psychic muscle and tender flesh. For a wild woman, it also helps if the lover is just a little bit psychic too, a person who can see into her heart. When the wildish woman has an idea, the friend or lover will never say, well, I don't know, sounds really dumb, grandiose, undoable, expensive, etc. to me. A right friend will never say that. They might say instead, I don't know if I understand. Tell me how you see it. Tell me how it will work. Having a lover friend who regards you as a living, growing criteria being just as much as the tree from the ground, or a ficus in the house, or a rose garden out in the side yard. Having a lover and friends who look at you as a true living, breathing entity, one that is human but made of very fine and moist and magical things as well. A lover and friends who support the criteria in you. These are the people you are looking for. They will be the friends of your soul for life. Mindful choosing of friends and lovers, not to mention teachers, is critical to remaining conscious, remaining intuitive, remaining in charge of the fiery light that sees and knows. The way to maintain one's connection to the wild is to ask yourself what it is you want. This is the sorting of the seed from the dirt. One of the most important discriminations we can make in this matter is the difference between things that beckon to us and things that call from our souls. When we are connected to the instinctual self, to the soul of the feminine, which is natural and wild, then instead of looking over whatever happens to be on display, we say to ourselves, what am I hungry for? Without looking at anything outwardly, we venture inward and ask, what do I long for? What do I wish for now? Alternative phrases are, what do I crave? What do I desire? For what do I yearn? And the answer usually arrives rapidly. Oh, I think I want, you know what would be really good? Is some of this, or, yes, that's what I really want. Is that on the smorgasbord? Maybe yes, and maybe no. In most cases, probably not. We will have to quest for it a little bit, sometimes for a considerable time, but in the end, we shall find it, and be glad we took soundings about our deeper longings. This discrimination, which Vasilisa learns as she separates poppy seeds from dirt and mildewed corn from fresh corn, is one of the most difficult things to learn, for it takes spirit, will, and soulfulness, and it often means holding out for what one wants. Nowhere can this be seen more clearly than in the choice of mates and lovers. A lover cannot be chosen a la smorgasbord. A lover has to be chosen from soul craving. To choose just because something mouthwatering stands before you will never satisfy the hunger of the soul self. And that is what intuition is for. It is the direct messenger of the soul.